Hi guys, and welcome back to my course. In the previous video, we designed the UI for our application. But what we did was we wrote all the code inside the app.js itself. In today's video, we will convert different parts of our application into different components. So coming back here. So what we can do is we can create one component for this product preview. So based on different data, we can show different results. Say for example, when different strap images pass, we can show that specific image, or when values pass, which tells whether to show heartbeat section or to show timestamp section, we can toggle between that. All right. Similarly, we can create a component for this product data section. So whatever data you pass to it, based on that, it can simply render the product data section. So let's give it a try. So let's start with this product preview section. So let's create a new component here. Say product preview.js. So there's no functionality in here. It's just showing some data based on props. So we can use a function-based component here. So first we got to import React. So import React from React. We can create a constant, say product preview. And we can use arrow functions. To export it, we can simply use default exports because there's only one thing to export from this file. Now this function will expect props. So let's just add that as an argument and it will return some JSX code. So coming here, let's copy all this code and let's put it here. So a div, inside that div, we've got all our JSX code. Now we also need to create a CSS file for this component. So let's add another file. Say product preview.module.css. And let's bring all the styles which are related to this product preview section in this file. So let's copy all this code. So let's copy all this code and put it in this file. Now just a small change here, let's make this 100%. So it takes the 100% of whatever space is given to it. So coming back, let's import it. So import classes from, and we can give the path to this file. So in our case, it's right next to the product preview.js file. So we can simply do product preview.module.css. Always remember, for any file other than a JavaScript file, you have to write the extension. All right. So coming back here, and we can clean up our app module CSS. So you can remove everything till here. And we also need to add a class to this. So class name, say product preview. So these are just stylings, nothing related to React here. So coming back, now instead of this code, we can simply use that component. So product preview. So as you can see, it automatically got imported, just like this. So product preview and the URL. Let's save it and let's check our web app. So as you can see, everything still works absolutely fine. So if I uncomment this time section, and for now just comment this heartbeat section. So as you can see, we're getting this error here because we don't have any variable with the name current hour or current minute. So coming back to our app.js, let's bring this code. So I'll just cut it from here and put it in this file. So as you can see, the error is gone. Let's save both the files and coming back here. So as you can see, it's giving me the latest time and there's no errors here anymore. All right. So moving on to this product data section now. So I'm just going to copy all this JSX code. Let's create a new file, say product data. So product data.js. So we already have one file. So remember we have that object file. So instead of product data, we can name it product details component. So product details.js. We will also need a CSS file. So let's add that as well. So product details.module.css. Now for now, I'm just going to create this as a function-based component. So import React from React. So to create a function, you can simply use arrow functions here. So product details is equal to parenthesis, export default and product details. Now, because this is a function-based component, it will expect some props and it will return some JSX code. So let's put it here. Now, as you can see, it's giving us this error because it cannot find classes. So let's import the CSS module file as well. Let's import classes from // The name of the CSS module file is product details.module.css. So as you can see, the error is gone. Similarly, we were using this product data object directly. So for now, I'm just going to import it. So as you can see, the product data file is also imported and the error is gone. So coming back here. So I'm just going to remove all this JSX code and instead of that, use our newly created component. So product details. And as you can see, once again, it's automatically imported. And now we don't need this product data import here. So I'm just going to remove it. Let's check our code. So as you can see, the stylings are a bit off because we did not add the styles to this product detail module CSS file. So coming to our app module, let's copy all this style code and put it here. Now again, just one thing to remember, I'm just going to give it 100% so that it takes the entire width which is given to that component. And coming to app module file, I'm just going to remove all this extra style code. Let's save it and let's check it again. As you can see, everything is back to normal now. So if you check our app.js file, now it's much cleaner. You can also create another component for top bar. So let's just cut it and create a new component. So top bar.js. So again, I'm just going to create it as a function-based component, but if I feel the need that it needs to have some functionality, I'll convert it to class-based. So import React from React. Let's create a function, say top bar export default top bar. This would return some JSX code, so let's put it here. Now we also need a CSS file, so let's add that. So top bar.module.css. Let's import this file here. So import classes from and the path of our module CSS file. So .module.css. Let's move all this top bar related styles to this file. So cut and paste it here. So now we can simply use this component. So in the header, we can simply write top bar. We can also get rid of this header and just put it inside our top.js file. We don't need a class name here because we aren't adding any styles to that component. Let's save it, let's check it again. And as you can see, everything is back to normal. So if you notice now, your app.js has one custom component, 2 and 3. And the code looks much cleaner. But still, if you notice here, all this data is still hard-coded. Same goes for product preview section. So there's no dynamic data in top.js, so I'm just going to close these files. And I'm going to start with this product details section. Now we are directly using this object here. So right now, all this product related data is coming from a local file. But later, when we learn how to connect our application to backend and how to make HTTP requests, all this data will be coming from the backend. And most probably you will fetch it in the parent component and pass it down to the child components. Don't worry, we'll talk more about that later. So the ideal scenario would be you will have that data in your app.js file or whatever is the parent component for this product preview or product details component. And all that data will be passed as props. So what we can do is instead of directly using the object here, we can add it to the state of our application. So now state is involved, so we need React's component class. So let's import it. And instead of function, let's convert this to class. We don't need parentheses. To inherit, we use this extends keyword followed by the parent class name. Now all class-based components have a render method. And inside that render method, we've got the return statement. So let's put it in there. Let's save it and let's check our code again. So as you can see, everything is still fine. Now let's add state to this. So state, and over here we can probably have product data, and we can simply fetch the data or fetch the object from our product data.js file. So we can simply import it to product data, and that's it. So as you can see, this product data represents an object, and we're just using that object to initialize our state. In ideal cases, you would be getting this data from the backend and you will be updating your state once you receive the data. But in our case, we already have it in the local storage. So I'm just updating in the state while initializing the component or when the component is getting created. We will talk more about the life cycles as well in the coming videos. But for now, just remember, if you want your state to have some default value, you can simply do something like this. All right. Now to pass some data down, we can simply use some properties here. Let's say data, and we can access it from our state. So this .state.product data. Let's try printing it in product details component. So before the return statement, let's add a console log statement here. And let's do props.data. So coming back to our application, let's inspect. Let's check the console. So as you can see, we're getting an object here. Inside the object, we've got all these properties. So far, so good. Now to access it, we can simply do props.data.title because that's how the data is stored inside this object. So let's give it a try. So again, remember, because we are working with JavaScript expressions, so you need to use these curly braces inside JSX. So props.data.title. Same goes for description. So instead of product data, now this would be props.data.description. Let's save it and let's check it. So as you can see, we are still getting the same data. So we're getting a warning at line 4 that product data is defined but never used. So it's probably an unused import. So as you can see here, and we can get rid of it. All right. Now let's try rendering these options dynamically. So I'll just copy one. So let's say constant, say color options. Now because this is an array, so as you can see here, this color options is an array. So we can use map to iterate it. So props.data.color_options.map, and this map will give us access to the current item and the position. So just like we've done it earlier, so just like we use list to render components and elements, same thing we're doing here. Now instead of doing src as a hard-coded string, we can simply do item.image URL. So let's give it a try. Now we got to add curly braces because again, JavaScript expressions inside JSX code. So item.image URL. Same thing for alternate tag. We can simply do item.stylename. So item.stylename. Let's save it. So this would create list of these image elements, and to use it, we can simply use it here. So curly braces, and we can pass it. So as you can see, everything is still working fine, but we're getting a warning about the key, which we forgot. So let's add a key here. For now, let's just use position because we don't have any ID here. And as you can see, the warning is gone. Now, moving on to this selected product image. So by default, the first image will be selected. So what we can do is put a condition here, say if position is 0, then simply add this class to our image element. So we can create an array here, say class array. So all the elements will have this class by default. So let's add it there. So classes.productImage. Now if the position is 0, we can simply add this class as well to it. So class array dot push classes dot selected product image. And now we can simply use that variable here. So classes array dot again join followed by argument as space. And we're getting an error here, of course, a syntax error. So this should be parentheses, not square brackets. All right, so coming back. And now as you can see, the first element is having this border. So far, so good. And now we can simply remove this code and we can do the same thing for these buttons. So right now we just have 2, but later we might have more features. So I'm just gonna go ahead and render this also dynamically. So constant. So while I'm typing it in the video, keep running that thread in your mind. What would be the next step? What would be the next step? And that's how you will get better at it, not just by watching the video. All right, so we can name it simply, say feature list. And again, to access the object, we can do props.data, and inside that data, we have a key feature list. And that list has some strings. So we can simply do feature list dot map to iterate it. This map will give us access to the current item which is being iterated along with position. Now we can simply return this JSX element, and instead of hard coding this text, we can simply do item. We don't have to do item dot something because we're getting a string here and not an object. So let's save it and let's try using it here. So you can simply use the variable, which was feature list. Let's save it and let's check our browser. So as you can see, both of them look same because we've directly added this selected feature item class. So we need to add it conditionally. So we can do the same thing which we did here. So by default, the class array can contain this feature item class. And if this is the first element, so if position is 0, then we can push the second one as well. So class array dot push, and we can pass it here. Now instead of this empty array, we can simply use that variable, say class array dot join. Also, because we're iterating and creating elements dynamically through a list, we need to add key. So again, we don't have any ID, so we can simply use position here. And as you can see, the first element is highlighted now. So all these elements are getting generated dynamically. Same thing can be done for our product preview.js file. So we can pass some data from the app.js. So let's give it a try. So what we need here is the current preview image. And we also need a value which tells whether we need to show the time section or we need to show the heartbeat section. So let's do that. So first we can pass the current preview image. Now for now, what we can do is simply hard code a value here. So I'm just going to copy this purple one and put it here. Say current preview image and this image. So we can use it from the state. So this dot state dot current preview image. And we can also add a Boolean value, say show heartbeat section. Let's say false by default. And we can pass this as well. Say show heartbeat section, and we can fetch it from the state. All right. So moving to our product preview section. Now instead of hard coding this image, we can use it from the variable. So props dot current preview image, because that's the property name we used here. Similarly, show heartbeat section. So instead of now commenting and uncommenting, we can conditionally render this code. So props dot show heartbeat section. If this is true, then render the heartbeat section. Or else render the time section. Let's save it and let's check it. So as you can see, we're getting time section by default because show heartbeat section is coming false from here. So instead of keeping false by default, if we have it true, so by default, we should see the heartbeat section. So as you can see, this heartbeat section is visible by default. So I'm just going to revert it for now. All right, so we've converted all our JSX code into proper components. We're passing data from app.js to the child components, and we're managing the state in the app.js component, which is the parent component for our product preview and product data section. All right. Now just one more thing. If you see here, we've got lots of file cluttered. So let's refactor our code a bit. So what we can do is we can club all related files together. So I'm just going to create a new directory here, say product details. So here in this directory, I'm going to put all the code related to product details component. So right now we just have a JavaScript file for the component. It's asking for confirmation. So just move. So as you can see, we've got this file under that directory. And another file is the modules file. So I'm just going to drag and drop it here, and yes, move again. So both my product details file are under the product details directory. Similarly, we can have another directory here, say product preview. So here we'll keep all the files related to our product preview component. So again, I'm just going to drag this file and put it under product preview. Same goes for this modules file. So now as you can see, we had two major components and we also have a top bar. So I'm just going to create another directory for top bar as well. So top bar, and let's just move the files in that directory. So now as you can see, we had three components and we've got three different directories for our components, and each directory contains all the code related to that component. So for product preview, we've got the JS file as well as the CSS module file. Same goes for product details and same goes for the top bar. And our code looks a bit more structured now. Similarly, this product data is just a utility file. So you can create another directory, say utils, and you can move that file in there. So let's save everything. So we just got to save this ReactJS file. So as you can see, VS Code automatically updated all these imports. So now we have the updated URLs. So let's save it. Let's check our web browser. So as you can see, everything is still working perfectly fine. And that's all for today. In the next video, we will add functionalities. I hope this gave you a better understanding of how to create or how to split your application into components. But if you have any doubts or queries, feel free to drop a comment below or reach out to me on Twitter. I'll add my Twitter handle in the description below. See you in the next video. Bye and take care.